Hi, thank you very much for joining. Okay, so today I want to highlight the creation of a dashboard using the startup data for group two. So, looking at the data set that was shared, if you want to follow along, the link to this data is available on the YouTube comment section, on the description section, sorry. Now, the data set that is provided here, we already cleaned it. It has already been cleaned by group two. So one of the things I would like you to check is put a filter on the data. So when you look at the data, you put a filter and see if there's any information that is out of place, you would see it showing differently. You can just check around and confirm that all the information provided accurate, so you can scroll as fast as you can, and anything that is out of place will show immediately. Now this is the column for industry vertical. Scroll down and see if there's any name that is looking out of place. For example, I think I'm seeing one name here, so I'll just uncheck this. um, this name is looking out of place, so I'll just click on this. In case there are other data set with other data available on this sheet with that same name, so we can just, with that same arrow, we can just put this here and replace it with nothing. We replace. So you see, by doing that, you've replaced that with about 8 other data set that are wrong. So close this, put back your filter, and keep going and checking. Now, doing this is ensuring that the data you're working with is correct and that you do not have need. Okay, so see, I have one other data set here that is having some mixture like this one. I don't know what it is, so we'll look at it. So this is definitely not supposed to be part of it. So let's copy this. And in order for us to ensure that it is affected in everywhere, so we can put this here and just replace all. So just one data set has that. So put back your filter. We can look at the sub vertical, that's the e-learning. First of all, I don't know what this is. So we can just look at this. Whoa, this is, we can delete all this. There's nothing important here. So we can just delete this. And then I check again. Is female. What is this? We can remove this. We don't need this double sign. I don't think we need this quoted marked, so I'm gonna remove that. We'll check and uncheck. Keep scrolling down and see if there's anything that is looking out of place. Agriculture supply chain management, agriculture supply chain solution, agriculture technology. So agriculture technology solution and agriculture technology should be the same, so we can match them. They are the same, so we can just copy and paste. Now going down, see uh, agri-tech mobile app. Okay, agri-tech and agri-tech. So we can take these two, we should merge them together. They should be the same. So we can use agri-tech. Highlight all of this. go to your home tab, look for select visible cells, and then paste them. So this way, the data set are regularized. Still put back this filter. We scroll all the way down, looking for any abnormalities, so we can fix them to make our data set look good. AI-based fintech, you need to spend more time in cleaning your data than you take producing whatever dashboard you're doing, because if the data set is not cleaned, trust me, your dashboard will be a mess. So we have app-based cab aggregator and app-based cab aggregation services. Is this the same thing? We can assume they are the same, so we will just take the same. Okay, the name of the investors are different, so we wouldn't assume. And the name of the startups are two different startups, so we would not assume. We would skip it. So we keep going and keep looking. Artificial intelligence is fine. Now, when we look at this, all of this seems to be in place. So once you confirm that nothing is out of place in your data set, alternatively, you can do something like this. You can highlight the whole of this column. You can highlight the whole of it, come to the home tab, come to condition formatting, come to highlight cells and rules, go down and click on duplicate values, and it will highlight fill the duplicate values with red. Then we will go back right up here, and let's see. We want to filter by the duplicate value, so this ones. So we look at those ones that do not have the same name. We would look at them and see if they're the same or there's an error. And once we confirm that they're all good, so once you confirm that they're all good, you remove your filter, clear. It means that you are done with the cleaning of that data set. So once you're done with the cleaning, you check other columns and confirm that they are good. Here, also this one, anything that is not part of what you need, please take it off. You don't need unnecessary infos, so just delete them. So now, assuming all of these data sets are correct and there is no error, how do we go about answering the questions that came with this data set? So first, we want to create a pivot table that is showing the total revenue by region. So right here we have a pivot table here. How to do a pivot table is first you select the entire data set. Go to insert pivot table. We already have a tab here that we named pivot table, so we can use an existing worksheet. Click on here, right here. We can put it right here and click OK. So we have a pivot table here. Now we want to provide a data set that says we want to provide a pivot table that says what is the total revenue by region. So we are going to have total revenue as the amount in USD. This one is showing count, so we don't want the count, we want the summation of the value. So you click the small arrow right here and select edit and pick sum. Click OK. Now this is the total money in USD, and we want the total revenue by region. So let's scroll. Is this the right question? I'm picking the wrong. Oh, okay. What is this? Which city has received the highest funding and what year? Okay, sorry, the city that has the highest funding and what year. So we are going to be taking the years, cities right here. We'll put the city right here, and you will see that the data is plenty. So we will take the date value and put it on the columns. So we would remove, yeah, the date value. We want it only in years. So we would delete this one. We'll remove the date. We don't want the actual date. We just want only the years. So this particular table will show you which city has the highest value by the time we create a chart. So this data looks kind of scanty and not cleaned because it's scattered figures. Now, if we want to build a dashboard here, we would here we want to build a dashboard on this particular sheet. So what we do first is highlight the entire sheet and come to page layout. We remove the grid lines so that it remains blank. Go back to the home page, select a particular color of your choice, but make sure you select something that is a bit brighter. So assuming I want to use this mint green as my background, or better still, I want to use, let me see, maybe I can change it to about this color. This is my background for my dashboard, and then I want to name the dashboard Startup Funding Dashboard. So I'm going to click on Insert. Right on this text, I'll click on Word Art. I love Word Art because I don't need to do much of formatting any longer. If I just want, I can only change the name. So I will click on this one, for example, and then I type Startup Funding, Startup Funding Dashboard. Now, if I take this one, I'll just move it right up here. So I'll keep it right here. And this is where I want to start putting up my dashboard. So first is this particular data we've already created here. We can just come here and click, just be here, go to Insert, click on the line chart. And let's pick any of this line chart, say this one. Now, when we pick it, we keep it right here, and here we will select the data set that is going to fit in on this. So we click on the pivot table, highlight all of the data inside the pivot table, and we click OK. Now, by the time you do this, from looking at this, you can already tell that Mumbai, New York, and Noida already have the highest funding because their chart is pointing quite high. So this is more like what we use line chart. Whereas these other ones are kind of tiny, it is barely irrelevant because we're looking for the highest number of which particular city has the highest funding. Now we are going to edit this, and we want to remove some of the informations there that we do not need. Okay, so we can put a trend line to show how the movement is. So we can put a linear line from 2015, and it shows right here where you see your trend line. So we want to also remove the side the side axis. We do not want the primary horizontal to show. We just want this to be bold. And then as usual, if you click on this and click on design, you have series of design up here that you might want to choose from, or you can click right here and see series of designs that you can choose from. So I would scroll down and look for a design that is fair. I don't know, I like this black. So I would take this black, minimize this. So I'll minimize this and keep it. Now, by looking at these, I've started creating a dashboard. So make sure that you have all the space to yourself to not limit your movement. And then next question is, what investment type got the highest funding? How many startups got an unknown or undisclosed funding? Which industry vertical is prominent from the dataset provided? So go back to this dataset again, click on insert, insert pivot table. We are continuing, we will keep inserting the pivot table on this particular sheet because we do not want to have multiple sheet. Let me see. Is there any question? Please feel free to drop the question in the comment section. I would do well to address it. So when you put up this here, we want to see which industry vertical has the highest funding. So we take the industry vertical here, which there are kind of very much plenty of it. So we would instead bring the total amount in USD, and this one is counting. We do not want to count, so check the value field setting and take on the sum, and then you see some of them are still 0. Yeah, and then we can still look at the years, so we can just pick only the year and put it right here, and we have another lots of data set here. And from here, we can also create another table, another dashboard. So we can still be using the line chart. So click here, next here, and click on insert. And we want to still use the line chart. So we would take the 3D line, and we can just click on this place and select data. So we click on this one, go back to the pivot table from the 2015 all the way down to the last of it. You're producing all of it. So keep scrolling till you find the end of it. So highlight all of it and click OK. So it will give you something like this, explaining only a few of the informations right in. What you're looking for is which particular industry vertical is leading, and we do not need the horizontal axis. So take it off. It's showing okay, we don't want the vertical axis, we just want something like this, and we want this to be just like this. So remove the title, we do not want title, delete it. So from here, you can just look at this chart and say, from this one, we have modular leading and followed by personal, which is the next to it. So, and then you have some other ones like brand food and cloud data. All of these are showing right here. So you can choose how you want to display data. And of course, we can always change our style of this particular data set to our desired color. So we can give it this. But In other words, we can also take off this industry vertical and drop the years here and still get the same thing, so that we would see based on the industry vertical which one is selling more on the years. So we have this particular data set. So make sure that whatever chart or graph you're creating, it's making sense to who is looking at it, and it is not clumsy. Now, when you look at this, you can also look at we are taking the date value against the total income or total expenditure amount in USD, and then we can merge it against the sub vertical industry, and that is where we will get our chart. So we want sub vertical industry right here. It's gonna be clumsy. So it has too many lines. Too many lines. So take this one out, sub vertical, which is this, and we can look for the date and pick only the year. So we have this, and it shows you this, and depending on how you want it, the most important part is we want to ensure that our data set looks just we want to make sure that our data set looks just fine. So pick this. We want to see the quarter, but we do not want to see the actual date. So we'll remove this particular field and bring the quarter right here. So right here, this is something that looks better. So we can change the style from here, pick up this, and we can remove this one, the axis. We don't want the vertical axis to show. We just want the chart to display. So we can look at this in 3D view, showing you the years and the quarter and how it rises. You notice that at 2015 it rises to the highest, and at 2020 it dropped to the lowest. So this is more like a chart that we can work with. The same thing, you can still go ahead again and create a dashboard here, a pivot table again, insert a pivot table. We want to insert in an existing pivot table, so we come right here and we can go back right to the top because we can still use this side of it, and click OK. So here what we want to do is we want to see the number of startup, so we will put the number of startup right here. We have total number of count of startup as 300, so we want to see it against the funding. So we can look at the years for which they started, and we have these values as this. So if you want to see other types of investment or the name of the investor, you can see right here. So we can use this as another chart, highlight all of this. We want only the year, please. Yep, so come right here, just by the side here, we want to insert another chart. Mind you, I am trying to make use of the entire space here to ensure that we will have like 3 charts. So next we insert a new chart. So let's take a pie chart or a donut chart, for example. Click here, select the data, click on this place, and come right here on the pivot table, and we are selecting this one here as our pivot table. So click OK. So you have the years right here. We can delete this one, we don't need it. and you can adjust this one based on how you want it to look like, and we can use something like this to show it. We can also reduce the size. You can reduce the size to express what you want, and then open it wide. Now, once you do this, you have the three charts already available right here. Now, one of the things I've tried to explain in terms of building a dashboard is your ability to filter the data set and produce result. So if you're putting up a filter, it will come as a slicer. So for example, I want to insert a slicer. I will come say insert slicer, and then where am I putting up my slicer? I want to put my slicer on, say, the quarters, or I want to put my slicer on the investor type, or I want to put my slicer on the amount. Now, all of these I can put, so I can click on this. Now, see, for investor type, this one has how many columns? See, it's plenty. So it means that this slicer cannot work. So we will delete this one, because to me, slicers are supposed to be from 1 to just say 5 and maximum 10. But when it is this much, then it is a waste of time. You cannot be slicing 1, 2, 3 and all that. So this one will delete. Now for this one, we want slices that is into 4, so we can change it to columns 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So some of the years do not have quarters, so it is showing as just a year. So we'll highlight all of them, clear all the filter, adjust them, and put it right there. Now we can move this chart downwards to accommodate what we're doing, and bring this one down too. And we can move our title up, reduce this by, and move this one upward, this one down. Then keep this one right above it here. And then this one amount in USD, it's plenty. So we will take out this one, bring this one down, bring this one down here. And once we do this, we are sure that our data is complete, our table is complete, or our dashboard is complete. You can then put other filters if you want to. So looking at this table, which other column would you need to put a filter on? So you look at the table, which one has less information that you can put as a filter. You look at it. This one does not, we cannot put a filter on this one because it's much. We can put a filter on the remarks. No, it is much also. So we can only put a filter on the year or quarter. So we can go back here. Instead of quarters, we can add another filter, another slicer, sorry. We can add another slicer on the year. So we'll take date, not date anyway, we'll just take the years only. So we have 2015 up the way down. So we can change this column to 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So now for this one, you need to check this data set, for example, which particular data is not having This one has all the years. So another way is highlight the full data set, change it to a long date, and then when you change it to a long date, look for any data set, any value that is out of place, and then you fix it. But apparently all the data are correct, so you don't need anything. So if you look at your dashboard here, it means that for this ones here, it means that 1st January 2015 does not have 5th of January 2015 does not have any other quarter to fit in or year to fit in. And this one is 10th of February 2022. So this particular dataset will be available for you to filter, and you can click on this to see the values changing for all of it. And then for you to relate this filter to all the dataset on this dashboard, you can just click on this, come to slicer, and then click on report connection, and report connected to this and this. You click OK. You click on this one, report connection, click on this and this, and you click OK. So once you do this, your dashboard remains as simple as this. No too much write-ups, but just explaining what you need to do to make your dashboard looks good. Please, sir, I can hardly see this with the black. Okay, when it is when you're doing yours, please use your preferred color. You can, it's not a must you must use a black background. Use your preferred color and do the charts based on how you think it's going to be more visible for you to see. So with this, I think I would bring this to